morning. Welcome back to the K.I.S.S Dog Training Podcast. Today we are going to tackle kind of a controversial topic of muzzles. I don't use them a ton, but when it comes to reactivity, aggression, dog bites, I think that we need to get past this. What do we want to say? This bad mojo people have when they see a dog in a muzzle. I think the most important thing that we can remember is that somebody who has taken the time to positively condition their dog to wear a muzzle, using it in public to keep their dog safe and to keep them from being able to practice behaviors that they and a trainer are trying to improve, modify, or manage. We should really celebrate these people. We shouldn't go, oh, look at that person with the terrible dog. Let me just, we'll start there, okay? And, the flip side of this coin is, whenever I train a puppy, I ask the clients to condition their dog to having their collar put on and off, harness on and off, go by the cone of shame or the Elizabethan collar, that you wear when the dog has had, like a spay or a neuter surgery to keep them from licking. And we also work with muzzles. And people will ask me, well, what's the big deal? Well, these are all items that the dog has never worn before. I mean, it's not like they come out of the box accustomed to these items. You got to take time. You got to get them used to it. You got to pair it with food and treats and make it a positive experience. The collar, the harness, even the e-collar are less restrictive to the dog than the muzzle. So of all of those things that I try to get everybody to condition their dog to wear, the muzzle's probably the hardest. And the biggest question I get is, well, why would I want my dog conditioned to wear a muzzle? I don't even know if they're going to need to ever wear a muzzle. And I kind of giggle and smile and I say, that is the exact reason why you should take the time to condition your dog to wear it. Because you never know when it's going to be necessary. If your dog gets hit by a car, if your dog rips a toenail off, anything that can cause extreme pain is going to elicit maybe growly, bitey behavior from a dog while you're trying to help them. And if they've never, ever experienced having a muzzle put on or taken off or gotten used to wearing one, it's going to be a real challenge to get one on the dog. So there's a good reason. Number two, we want dogs that are okay with being touched and handled and managed in different ways. And really the best time to teach the dog that these are positive experiences is when they're puppies, not when they're adults or adolescents or when all of a sudden we need one of these devices. So, think about this. I think we need to get rid of the stigma of muzzles, number one. Number two, I think we need to start earlier and get dogs used to wearing them. And we need to realize how restrictive this is to the dog. This is not something you just slap on a dog and make them wear. It is one of those things that you start off. I always preach the idea of short duration, high frequency, and under threshold. What that means is we're going to practice 2 or 3, maybe 4 times a week of, here's your muzzle. You want to put your face in the muzzle, and you get a treat. Then we're going to up it to, I'm going to put it on, and we're going to go through a sit and a down, and we're going to do this, and we're going to reward, and we're going to get the dog used to wearing it. It's not something that we can just practice for a week or two. I will say that I have found a lot of really cool videos on YouTube, and I have kind of migrated them into a playlist on our YouTube channel called Muzzle Training. And if you look through those, you get to see just how long it's really going to take to get a dog comfortable wearing this device. I guess this would be another point to talk about different kinds of muzzles. If you go to your veterinarian or your groomer, they may very well just put a slip muzzle on, where it's going to be a fabric tube that they can put on the dog, clip behind their head, and the dog physically can't open their mouth. Okay? Now, that's intended for, we're going to trim nails, we're going to take blood, we're going to do it quickly and take the muzzle off. I would still say that a basket muzzle is better in those situations. but the faster uh, option is going to be that slip muzzle. When it comes to a training situation, we definitely do not want to use one of those because the dog's going to be in those a little bit longer. And if it holds their mouth shut, they can't take treats, they can't pant, they can't really eat or drink. So it's very restrictive, and you don't want to leave a dog in one of those kind of muzzles very long. I like basket muzzles. I think that they are going to provide the opportunity where the dog can drink out of a bowl, the dog can take treats, the dog can pant, the dog can experience life and not have to worry about anything else. Um, but again, it's one of those things that we have to start small and build up. You know, it's funny when I deal with reactivity and aggression cases and we've got a muzzle on the dog does tend to calm down once that normalization period is done with the muzzle. But the other aspect of wearing a muzzle is it gives some grace to the owner of that dog to realize my dog is safe. So the owner's energy level and anxiety drops, which then has a positive effect on the dog because when the owner calms down, the dog tends to calm down. So a lot of times we use these and it makes the owner feel so much better. They just decide, well, you know, hey, if I'm going to put my headphones in and listen to a podcast, I want to know that if somebody surprises us or we meet an off-leash dog who's, you know, roaming the neighborhood, that at least my dog is safe. Now, flip side to that, if there is a lot of off-leash dogs, remember, if you've got your dog in a muzzle, your dog can't protect itself anymore. Okay? So it's your job to do that. I do think it's important to be dealing with a certified, insured dog trainer to help you through the muzzle process. But I don't want anybody who's watching this to think, you know, the stigma of I have a bad dog because I'm wearing a muzzle. What I would rather think is I have a wonderful owner who's taking responsibility for their dog and doing what's best for the dog. It's the most responsible choice. Um, and there's lots of dogs who have reactivity issues, and when they go out in public, and the owner knows it's going to be a tough experience, the dog is wearing a muzzle because they don't want the dog to practice bad behavior. And God forbid they don't want their dog to do damage to another dog. So, you know, this is a really complex topic that we're covering in kind of a short period of time here. But the takeaways are, do not mess with people who are wearing, you know, their dogs are wearing a muzzle. Don't add to that stigma. Don't give them dirty looks. Don't call animal control and say you have a dangerous animal in your neighborhood. Instead, you might want to say, you know, way to go. You know, you're doing the responsible thing. You're making sure the dog is safe. And hopefully they're working with a good positive reinforcement trainer that then can help them with counter conditioning, redirection, commands like leave it, even using a clicker to help classically condition the dog that the triggers are not so scary anymore and that I can pay attention to mom and dad. That brings us down an entirely different topic, but we did have a comment on Facebook asking us what we thought about muzzles. And I think that they are a wonderful tool that, if used right, can help a dog tremendously. On the flip side, if you use the device wrong, it can make the problem a lot worse. So, if you've got any questions, give us a call. The phone number at the office is 913-269-7595. You can also get hold of us at info@K.I.S.S Dog Training. Remember that we have, a podcast, YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all sorts of social media. But let us know the kind of topics you want, or what I think about certain things, and we'll cover them in the detail that gives you my opinion. I appreciate you guys tuning in once again, and this is Mike with K.I.S.S Dog Training. Come back again, and we'll talk dog again. Have a great day. Bye bye.